Hello and welcome. My name's Brandee, Sage of the Fae Folk. I'm a tarot reader, artist, and writer, and today I've got a Lunar New Year reading for you. It just seemed like a really good time for a check-in reading. I've pulled oracle cards already for each of the 12 signs, and then in each of the groups I'll pull from tarot cards. In these readings, we'll do a general check-in, and we'll see what goals you should be keeping up with. And this reading's for my fire signs, so if you're an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius in your sun, moon, or rising sign, this reading is for you. I've got a little intro reading for you for how you'll know this reading's for you and what you can expect to get out of it. I'll see you over in those readings.
It would be so nice if something would make sense for a change.
What's your name?
Brandee.
With 2 E's.
I had a world of my own, everything would be nonsense.
I'm going to pull us a couple cards just as like a general of what to look for in this reading and how you know it's for you. I'm putting this out with the intention that the signs will be for your sun, moon, and rising sign. They'll remind me if I need it. So many cups already. Okay. So it seems like the general themes across this collective with the people who find this video that you will find. So it's probably touching on all 12 of these, but obviously the specifics will be different and even different from inside the pile because I can't know everything. Okay. A lot of cups energy. And then this is what we're setting aside. Okay, I get it. So this is the thing that you're picking up this year. It seems like the main thing is care for yourself, starting from yourself. It seems like you've probably been someone whose call out is starting early. You've probably been someone who has almost relied on other people to like have a routine. Like maybe you calling myself out too. Wow. Like maybe you wait for other people to make a plan with you rather than just going and doing the thing that you want. This is changing. This 9 of Cups upright is really about like personal fulfillment, wish fulfillment, and like going. It's like a manifestation card. And this achievement and luxury is on this. But there's always, for me, an element of solitude in this card. In the traditional like Pamela Coleman Smith illustration, it's like person alone with their 9 cups. And that's different than the 10 of Cups, which offers a loving community. These are both like very happy places to be. This 10 of Cups includes like family, it includes the group. And so this is what's reversed right now. So it's not saying that you can't have family, that you have to do it all alone, but it does have to be your thing. It does have to be your way, especially right this minute. And I think especially since so much of this is about like what's your plan going forward? What are you doing? What are your goals? Like that's what a lot of the intention into this reading is. You can't base that on what other people want for you. This is that 10 of Swords reversed. We're setting down the perspectives of other people. We're setting down the busy work given to us by other people. And that takes a hard shift. So I think a lot of these individual readings will be about the details of how to set down, how to like not care what other people think in a way that you can just move freely with your things. I like that a lot. What's on the bottom of the deck? 10 of Wands. 10, 10, 10. Releasing burdens is another big thing. And all of these 10s want to come out reversed. There's something about like redefinitions that always comes out when I'm talking about 10s reversed. And that is a lot of what we've been talking about, right? Is like how can you define this on your terms? What does success mean to you? Like, you can't know if you're successful if you don't know what successful means. And so I think this is a call to really come back to those definitions, especially on how you define it. It can be someone else's definition if it's like something that you also think is true. Yeah, it looks like you've got a big, like, logician, like logic person stuck in your head that's always like, well, is that true or is that just the way I feel? Both. Like, this is definitely a call to nuance rather than locking yourself in to either other people's perspective, where you sit with other people, your place in the group. Like, a lot of those things seem to be things that are fading out, and what's coming back is what you want to do. I'm really drawn to Dreamer on this card. And I think a lot of people read kind of like a bitchy attitude onto the Queen of Cups, which is like deserved a lot of the time. But I think people forget that it's an emotional card still. Like, this is peak emotions. This is being so in tune with your emotions that you know to stay regulated. This is like taking care of yourself from the top down. This is the kind of like taking care of yourself that, like, you brush your teeth because it feels gross when you don't, not because you should be brushing your teeth. If that difference makes sense. So, okay. I think those are some really good themes. They really, really want me to pull with this Lord of the Rings deck before I get into the middle of it. So, 1 second. Let me see what this deck has to say. And yeah, if you want to skip over to your parts, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to either put timestamps in the doobly-doo, or I'm going to separate the video. I've not tried it, so I don't know how hard it is. Seven of Pentacles reversed and Six of Pentacles reversed. We got a lot of reversals in this first. Oh, okay. And when I get a lot of reversals, I do feel like there's like perspective warping going on, which is a very abstract way to say it looks like you've been depressed. And I think depression comes with depression goggles, things that color it darker than things actually are. It's really easy when you're depressed to think that there's no hope out there for you, to think that there's no way forward, and that no one could know how to get out of this situation. And this sun is all about optimism and positivity and consciousness, and I really think it's coming in to say there's a different way. There's a different way than going through this darkness. There's a different way than this world where everyone takes from you. In this world where it's everyone's 6, 7, 8 reversed too. You know, like, Six of Pentacles reversed I'd read as like unfairness, like people not knowing when to give but also not knowing when to take, and the opposite of that. So like people taking too much from you, people expecting too much from you. That's this card reversed. The Seven of Pentacles reversed is like, I've never had a plan. What do you mean how should I what do you mean how should I plan? There's no plan. There's never been a plan. I just got the friends do you have a plan? I don't even have a plan. Like, it's no plan. And then Eight of Pentacles is like, but there is infinite tasks from everyone else. So this is really a burnout cycle, if I'm being honest, because it's like there's no plan, but people want me to be places. So if I just take care of other people, that should get me somewhere. But it comes back around to this unfairness. It comes back around to, like, I've been giving myself up. There's too much of myself being drained, and it just keeps going. And so this King of Rings reversed, Rings or Pentacles, is really like you never had control. You never could have control. But I always read that the energy of up and down is always there, which means that the control is there for you. The stability, the assuredness is right there. But you just have to start by taking care of yourself, and that'll lead to these bigger processes. So I definitely think there will be a little bit on like how to maintain optimism. What's the most easeful path forward will probably be one of the questions that I focus on. Oops, sorry if that made a noise. So yeah, I hope this sounds exciting to you, and that I'll see you in your groups. Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising sign. Whoop. I cannot believe that card keeps coming. Both Pisces and Aquarius. Seven of Swords. Different vibe. I'm understanding why we had to take a few deep breaths. Also, my throat keeps getting all caught up. Might be having some issues speaking, like stuttering a bunch, and I can't remember the word for when you can't remember the word. Okay. It looks like there's a lot of competition around. Like there's a lot of it's like fighting, but it's like fighting for attention, fighting for some of you fighting for love, literally, but like for others it's more the attention side of it. And I will say, yeah, if you've got Aries placements, let me know, because I'm curious what other groups the Aries will resonate with, because this is very different than the first two. It's coming out a lot like a story, and it's like before you had really bad boundaries and it let these people in that thought they like had control over things, and it like warped the perspective you have of yourself so much that like you started to communicate like these other people. You started to like only see things by these other people's terms. And it seems like more recently you've kind of become aware of that fact. I think the thing that really got to you was this competition. It stopped being fun. It stopped feeling like worth it to fight for that love and attention. And I think you had this is feeling so anyway. For a long time, I think you had to just ignore that this fighting was happening, that this like clawing for attention was even a part of what was going on to protect yourself. But you didn't have to feel the fact that like no one's on your team. I definitely see that like you've been feeling that. Like maybe it like was something you could push away for a while, but like more recently it definitely seems like you've had to deal with it. I'm even seeing like how this card has those two cups here, but and then we have the two of cups out. Yeah, it seems like the fair thing, yeah, would have been to let you talk about it, let you have your side in it. But unfortunately, the way you've had to deal with it is just leave it behind. Um, and I actually think at the beginning that wasn't even an option. Like leaving it behind wasn't even something you could have considered. And so now it's at this point where it's like it feels sad. Like you should have been able to just like have a conversation and make things okay. Keep breathing. Uh, I can see that it's been really hard to keep being this strong, keep being this steady when it feels like no one's on your team, when it feels like no one's in it for you. And it seems like you're now coming into a spot where you're done waiting for things to get better. You're done waiting to have that. Sorry, these fingerprints are driving me crazy. I'm done waiting. Like in the past, you would have happily sacrificed the things you had going on to be around people, to be around these people, have that attention, that love, that like I'm the one that won kind of thing going on. I think you've set that down. And so now it's like I just kind of want to exist, and I'm sick of making it all a thing all the time. Fair. So yeah, in this mess, the next question will be, what's the most easeful path forward? We'll get cards if like you should keep competing, we'll get those cards. If that's the most easeful path forward, to go back to doing things the way they wanted you to do it, we will get those cards. Oh, and if you prefer not to see the shuffles and just want to speed it along, I'm gonna edit them down for TikTok, so you can go follow me over there. Most easeful path forward for my Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Opportunity. What was that? A knock at the door? I'm sorry if that like ever like literally. I think it'd be really funny if like someone did knock at the door, but I'm sorry if it scared someone also. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's time you get used to the fact that the abundance and good times and like the before, your new information changed it. It's not the same. So while you can look back and say I was happy then, but if I had known these things I wouldn't have been happy. But you didn't know the things. And so I want you to get comfortable with that duality. It was a happy time. It doesn't have to remain a happy time. It's okay to take the good things and like cut out the bad parts. And I don't mean that to like ignore them. I mean, it seems like your brain hasn't had anywhere to rest because you've been circling around like all these painful spots that are now tainted. And they really just want you to breathe and get out of your head. You don't have to stay tied here. You don't have to be here. And if it feels better to just like go have fun, go ignore it, go play, please do that. That is the most easeful path forward. Play. I know when you're circling around really dark stuff, it doesn't feel like you can play. But I would say it's even more important than to try and find some of it. Like I said, there really seems to be an opportunity here for you. So it could be something like you've been waiting for a way out of a relationship, and then a perfect job that relocates shows up. It could be something like that. This could be more like you don't value the same things as the family you grew up with, and so now you're needing to move to a different place, maybe to go to school, pursue a job again, like some opportunity. We've got the devil out, which is telling me that there is your relationship with abundance, with opportunities in general, has been warped by this situation. You don't know how to trust the opportunity. So what I would do, what I think is the most easeful path forward that's coming out, write out what you need and want, especially outside of money. Like feeling secure and having a savings account is one thing, but like just wanting money, like what's the deeper want there? Money to get what? And then whatever it is you decide you want and need, let yourself move toward it without the guilt that you're not holding up to like these values of the group you're leaving. You don't believe in them anyway. And I think you've kept yourself stuck for a while. Like it it feels that way. It feels like you've kept yourself stuck. It's actually coming out like you've been doing things the way you needed to do them. You could only learn things so fast. But it does look like the mistake at this point would be to continue to tie yourself where you are rather than letting yourself move toward the thing you want. So you'll know the opportunity is for you when it matches these other needs and wants that you lay out. So take some time to like journal about that to figure out like what you need and want, and then pay attention to what opportunities are bringing those things. So let's do the goals. What are the... That's easy. Have a direction. That's the goal. Ooh, you want a direction that you can like you want to have an elevator pitch for your direction. Not only do you want to know which way you're going, but you want to be able to say it like like majors in school help you for this, because it's like, yeah, I'm in school, but I'm like going this way. They're like don't tie yourself to whatever this thing is. I think that's why we've got the Knight of Swords, actually, is it's supposed to be a changeable thing. It's supposed to be a quick thing. Um, so even if it's like something you are telling people, it's your elevator pitch of like how you are, what you're doing. Um, that doesn't mean it can't change. Like you could even add like couching language, like currently I'm studying this. Right now I'm working this, like, but I think it will benefit you and these spaces you're leaving behind to have it quick, have it just like definitive, even. Um, so yeah, like I was saying, thinking about like what do you value? What are the things that like matter to you most is really going to be a good way to hit that, because that's the direction you're heading. What do you value most? Head that way. I'm making it sound really simple. I know it's harder to do that in practice. That's your advice. So let's say then, because that's a good goal. Like, be very like clear and concise. Like, have some direction to head. Great. What else? That Three of Swords reversed back out. Okay. Also, wow. I'm very impressed by you. This one is you want to keep healing, and you don't want the healing to be the only thing you're doing. You want a well-balanced life that includes healing. So that's probably things like having boundaries with yourself on how long you'll let yourself like ruminate over a problem, how long you'll actually let yourself sit in the problem. And when it's like, oh, I gotta work, you gotta move out of that problem. So that's a bit of discipline too. But I really like that, the goal to be balanced. That would also include making sure you have time to process things. So that's either being in therapy, doing journaling, doing like whatever medicine you do that makes you feel better. Making time for that is a big part of that. Making time for the healing, but not being all like only about healing. I don't know how I said it the first time, but these are these are a lot clearer than the Pisces and Aquarius goals that we had out. This is like, I want to go this direction. I want to be balanced. I want like very certain. Okay, and if you're an Aries and Aquarius person in your big three, I would like to know that one. I want to know everybody's big three. Much of you feel comfortable, because some of you are getting a divorce. Some of you are like moving on from a relationship. Obviously, that's not for everybody. You'll know if it's for you, if it like matches with everything else that's being said, for you. But it seems like a lot of your strength relies on finding things your own way. That's a very Aries mentality. But yeah, I feel like a lot of what you've been doing was like needing to be paired with other people, needing to do things like compromise, and you really cared about keeping things fair, and that has been the more peaceful path. And now it looks like you're needing to choose yourself again in like a big way, and choosing yourself literally for some people might be leaving the relationship. For others, it'll be like balancing things back out again, like just having more time to yourself, more times with friends, more time on your own projects. It'll be different for everybody, and you'll know. But that seems like a goal. So there's probably some measurable aspect that you want to use with that. Like I said, for some people, it's clear what's measurable you want to leave. For people who aren't there, that's not speaking to you, I would say maybe you want like 2 nights, to like one night for you, one night for your friends, like something like that a week. That could be measurable. That could be something to work towards. You don't have to start there, but like a direction to head. Okay. They want one more goal. So many reversals. So there seems to be a lot of like what you don't want. I don't want to be aimless. I don't want to be hurting. I don't want to be tied up. That's helpful. I think the like what you do want is this next step to work on. Yeah. First, I don't have that book. Okay. Yeah, I think it's if you're not quite ready to move on, which is what it seems like a lot of this reading has been about, moving on, doing things your way, doing it without them, doing it on your terms, all of those things. Um, I think the thing to ask is, well, why stay? Like what is the thing that's actually keeping you in place? Because I think if you make peace with that reason, it'll feel a lot easier to leave. It'll feel a lot easier to know if you should leave or if you should go. Why stay? I think you've not been asking yourself that because it feels like it'll zap all your energy. It won't. It'll actually give you quite a bit of motivation. Like that's the inspiration you're looking for. So part of it seems to be like a made up mind, but I think the goal is you want to be more inspired. You want to have more of a like a authentic motivation for the direction you're heading. Yeah, I like those goals. They're very I am very Aries. I also can't believe how many wands we got out. So much fight. Okay, so with this deck, before we go into the oracle cards I pulled, we're gonna see how does your spirit team think you're doing. Guess that lover's reversed again. At least. Okay, like you may still be making up your mind about what you are, who you are, and what you want to do. Your spirit team knew it all along. I feel like yeah, they've been whispering in your ear more, like bigger, just a little more, like the whole time. And it seems like you've really needed to hold yourself back. Some of it's been like you've been stalled, whether that's like depression or trauma or like whatever. There's been legitimate obstacles that have kept you from going bigger, doing more, being the ambitious achiever that you want to be. Those obstacles aren't there anymore. Now the main obstacle seems to be you're grown. You're like into a different thing. You're like you've made decisions, made relationships, and now want to head a different direction. So I do think there's a lot of like your team really wants you to be gratitude, gracious, but grateful. Don't know why that was so a hard word to find. They really want you to be grateful. The moon was flipped upside down in there. Which is just telling me there's still a lot of mystery out there. There's still a lot of like surprises that your team is waiting to give you as soon as you show your face. Like as soon as you decide to show up in whatever way it's like resonating for you. Like for some of you it's like gonna be starting a new career, gonna be starting a new like thing. For other people you're showing up in a new way to the same thing. Like I keep saying, take it how it resonates, but it seems pretty clear from your guides that you're handling the mystery well, that you are a star, frankly. That nobody does work like you do, and I think it's time to prove that to yourself. Your guides have been convinced. You've spent some time convincing other people that you belong. Now it's time to prove it to yourself. And they will be there to help you. And you've got angels that have been guiding you, angels that'll keep guiding you. Beautiful. So, okay, let's do the oracle cards. So I'll do some reading. I've been like reading and explaining, but if you prefer, I'll put the pictures on the screen. Sometimes I'm not the best like reader out loud or in my head, but I'm gonna try anyway. So this oracle card, transformation. I didn't even read these. I haven't looked at any of these. Allow the energy of fear to be transformed by love, creativity, and compassion. And this whole deck is about the number 44 is about living a creative life, in whatever way that like creativity can show up in anything. The transformation card is an indication that you should look at the situation in question as if there was a whole other separate project or concept within it. The way ancient astronomers looked at stars and saw the constellations emerge. This card can be an invitation to fundamentally change your project in some way. Is that not what I've been saying? It can also indicate that you're being asked to take your creative project to a higher level or even a lower level, or to transform it into something else. The original idea you had can morph into something more powerful, lasting, and satisfying to you in some way by letting go of by letting go of a part that is not working. Like my mouth. You are not being advised to give up and start over, but to change the elements you already have available to you in new or different ways. Yeah. I don't have a lot to say to that one. It really seems like I said, a lot of this seems to be about you. I am. And like taking that back into like what you say you are, what you would like to be. So this next deck is the Literary Witches Oracle. So they've got witches who are authors, and then witches materials, which are just like random things, but they've all got 3 key phrases for each card. So what we've got with Yumiko Kurahashi, sorry if I said that bad, correct me please. Masks becoming in play. I wouldn't be surprised if we've got like a late diagnosed autistic person in this group. Because a lot of the like reality crumbling, reality reshaping seems to be very in line with like a diagnosis, like figuring something out late in the game. Or what feels like late in the game to you. And so now you're needing to transform from like all these disparate pieces that now you know what to call them, and you can put them into that constellation like that thing was saying. Okay, yeah, this is also for the witches, they have a little bio that I don't usually read because I've read them, but they don't usually go with the like message that's coming through. But this one does. So, uh, Yumiko Kurahashi, a badass of experimental fiction from Kochi Prefecture, is almost entirely unknown among English speakers. Influenced by Kafka and French literature, Kurahashi's bizarre stories feature ghosts, flying heads, witch masks, incest, and bestiality. Her work will completely freak you out and provoke you with its fairy tale logic and philosophical underbelly. Yeah, I think you're wanting to like I said, like really tap into that ambitious side of yourself, that like person that had to be left behind for whatever reason. You're wanting to really like prove it back to yourself. Maybe you're wanting to like do graduate school or something, like really get further in your field. Okay, so then this last oracle card, we got Aramid. Powerful healing and occultic herbalism is brought forth by Aramid. Again, sorry if I'm bad at names. These are auspicious symbols from a bunch of different cultures and practices, and so I'm pretty sure this is Celtic. Yeah, a Celtic goddess of of healing arts and herbal healing traditions. Yeah. Okay. Aramid arrives with this message to invite you to explore the healing power of herbal medicine. Herbalism has a long and venerated history through every culture and is very popular today. You may consider adding herbal tinctures, teas, and fresh herbs to your daily life. If you have been looking for natural remedies for current health and wellness issues, you are invited to look at the power of plants. This may mean consulting an herbalist or acupuncturist, or learning about herbalism yourself through a study course. If you are on the healing path, which, if this reading resonates, you absolutely are, this card could signify the need to study flower essences, herbalism, aromatherapy, or homeopathy to assist yourself and others. Remember, Aramid blends the natural world with a spark of magic. Think of the ability of herbal healing to regenerate and re-inspire not only your body but also your mind. Through this path, discover your personal connection to natural remedies and longevity. Yeah. It really seems like you're finding what works for you. What's your terms? Where do you fit into this? And a lot of that's going to be addressing the roles that you've played with people and seeing, is that a role you want to continue, or is that something that you're ready to leave behind? Like, you're the only one that's going to know that. But yeah. Well, anyway, so it looks like you're on a healing journey this year, starting out. Lots of transformation. Don't be afraid to try new things while you're at it. Leo, sun, moon, and rising. Glad you're here. So what I'm going to do first here is pull out just a general how are things going reading. What are the things you've got going on? Oh, I knew we had the Empress. When I saw that Three of Pentacles for a second, I thought it was the Empress. I should have said it out loud. Okay, yeah. So we'll just do a general how are things going? What's going on? What's the deal? And then we'll get into how to start this new year or continue this new year on the right foot. How to make sure that you're doing the right things for yourself. What goals you should have, what goals you should continue. All of that. And if you prefer to see these without the actual shuffles, I do them over on TikTok but edited down, these same readings. So you can follow me over there if you prefer a shorter, more concise version of the reading. Mm. Fool on the bottom of the deck. The Fool on the bottom of the deck and the World card out. So that's the last card and the first card in the Major Arcana, which is the trump suit of the tarot. Which to me means you're closing out cycles and starting a new one. Okay, yeah. It seems like you've been very defensive in the past over going your direction. You want to make sure you're going your direction. You have to protect it at all costs. You're going this way. And internally, you've let a lot of people talk you down from doing what you wanted to do. So now it seems like you're closing out this cycle of not taking care of yourself, of letting people convince you to do something against what you wanted to do, what you knew to do. And it does seem like a lot of that convincing happened out of like kindness, out of like I'm trying to be a good team player. Like maybe you were in a relationship where you just had completely different spending goals. And so you wanted to go on more trips and they wanted to save more. And so it just didn't feel compatible. And you had to give up on the things you were wanting to do to help them out, which is needed sometimes, but it does seem to be the problem that you're dealing with right at this minute that you're finding this. So we've got the 7 and the 8 of Cups out. I love seeing progressions in my spreads, and I think it's really interesting that we've got the 5 of Cups here, but not the 6 of Cups. Especially because, no, it's been the 6 of Pentacles. I don't know the way. Anyway, some people have gotten the 6 of Cups, I think. So, how that's coming out, the 6 of Cups is about reciprocity, about equal give and take. And it seems like you're going to need to be a little selfish to do what you need to do. To take care of your emotional pain, the weight that you're feeling, which has nothing to do with everyone else, just your internalized experience, is making it the case that when you give so much to other people, you don't know what's going on with you. And so you need some time in your own energy, or maybe away, to figure that out, to get it sorted out into like, this is what I want, this is who I am, this is the direction I want to head. Because I do think you have a lot of those things figured out. It looks like you have been doing what you want lately. There's just that emotional backlog where it feels like you're still having to justify it. So your brain isn't caught up to where your actions are, which is really far along. And so it seems like there's some integration you're needing, some merging of these two sides of yourself. This one that's ready and already doing it and capable, handling it, and this other side that still feels locked in the past, locked in whatever loss you experienced. Ooh, I didn't even notice we had the Judgment. So we have Judgment World and the Fool as a 3-card progression. That is very cool. Yeah, what direction you want to head. Like I said, there's a side of you that's figured that out. I think it's just been a habit to not have it figured out. It's been a habit, especially in what you've been saying about yourself, that you don't know what you're doing. Or even that like you're confused of which direction to head. There are too many options. That's like how you've framed it so long in your head that now that you do know the direction to head, or at least some of the direction to head, there's all this doubt bubbling up, making you question if it's the right direction. So I really like this Knight of Swords because it's telling me you're wanting to move really quickly in this. This isn't somewhere you want to stay stuck in anymore. And you're ready to do it kindly. That might even have been something that you were waiting on, waiting for yourself to lower those defenses so you know you're not running away and that you are actually moving on towards something different. And yeah, the Empress is all about self-care. and just in receiving and embracing that like beautiful, yummy energy. And I think the best way for you to acquaint yourself with that energy right now is to give it to yourself. Is to take care of yourself first. And this has been a theme across a lot of our groups. Take care of yourself first and use the extra for other people. But it's going to take a little rearranging. I really like this pig up in the top cup there. Um, it kind of feels like this kind of actually feels like a little tower moment for that pig, where that doesn't look too stable. But I like enjoying it up there. And I think that's what you've been in for a long time around people, is it's just like, yeah, they slow me down. Yeah, they're kind of in my way, but I just enjoy them. And so what I see instead for you is this wave of loving your path and yourself more than you love other people's path. And I think it's really important that like the language is coming out like paths and not necessarily people, because this is not, oh, you have to be isolated. It's not that you have to be alone. It's just your work that you're doing and no one else's. And their work is theirs. So, with all that out, what's the most easeful path forward? Okay, that's one. Meditation could help ease things along. Feel less jarring. Fool again. I was even thinking there's like a when that Nine of Cups came out reversed, it was like, we're not on the Nine of Cups yet, we're on the Eight of Cups. And then the Eight of Cups was the next thing to come out. It took me a minute to find it, but did it. And Eight of Wands, where are you? Okay. So there's, again, loving yourself more than you love other people. Loving your path, loving the thing that you've chosen. And I even think that, like, it's just not about other people. So it really doesn't matter what they're doing if they approve any of it. It doesn't matter. So it seems like you're feeling very, like I said, very Aries energy, like at war kind of energy about your decisions. You feel like you need to protect and justify a lot of the decisions that you're making, especially when they're about your self-care. When you're brave enough to say, I'm going to rest for myself, it seems like at that moment, all of these distractions come in, all of these responsibilities come in. And I'm just going to say, we had the Seven of Cups out on the first one. That's a very Seven of Cups kind of lesson. It's, here are a bunch of options that are not it. You've decided what you want to do. Here's a bunch of things you could do. Are you sure you wanted to do what you wanted to do? Are you sure you wanted to rest? Because now here's all your friends available suddenly when they weren't available. Now here's all of your Now your partner is like taking you out on a date when they've been ignoring you. Like things like that really seem to be used to be getting in your way. And now you're moving into, and it is the most easeful path forward to move into. I'm just gonna leave. um there's a really interesting, your cards want to put a lot of caveats. Like it's love yourself but not too much of them. I don't want to say too much, but I want to have open and honest conversations. I really want the mystery to be over, but more has to be out there for me. Like it I want to move forward, but I don't want to do it on my own. There's very, like, it's couched, it's careful. And I do think that is part of what this most easeful path forward is to kind of be less careful. That's what that Knight of Swords was really telling to me at the beginning spread. Oh, 333 on my clock there. Because yeah, it's time to get a little reckless with it, but I don't mean reckless in the sense of like letting your plans go, like being lazy. Lazy's a complicated concept anyway. Um, but by losing control, I think what you want to do is get entirely lost in your creative process. Whatever big project you've got brewing, whatever that judgment card is, like, I want to go this direction. I don't know all the things about it, but that's the direction I want to go. And you've already made some steps in that direction, and that's why the World and then now the Fool is coming out for you. And so, the most easeful path forward is to just do it. Fall in love with yourself. Fall in love with your projects. Fall in love with your path and your direction and your body, your competitiveness. I think even your indecisiveness, because it, like, you frame it as wholly negative. Like, I can't decide anything. And this is really coming out to say you're careful. And that's why you're indecisive. You care a lot. And so rather than stopping yourself at that indecision, let the care show you which way to go. Let that intense, it matters too much to make a decision. That's what that feels like before. And instead you're moving into, I care too much to not make a decision. So, what goals should you have? And all of that I'm saying, like, I think you've been thinking of it as too good to be true. That came out as the most easeful path forward. The most easeful path forward is falling in love with your path. Doing what you love and loving what you do. Feels like it's coming out so sternly. Seven of Swords reversed. And not in that first deck. Eight of Cups. Holy cow, do you need to leave? Whatever this is. Leave it behind. Leave it in the dust. Like, I might even just grab a book and read it from someone else's words. Just so that you can know that I'm not the only one saying it. Sometimes things are pretty good. Everything seems just fine except for this deep, persistent urge to move on. There's nothing you can put your finger on as to the reason why you want to go, you just do. This makes it hard to rationalize or talk to others about. It may look like you are throwing away a perfectly good life or job or relationship or opportunity, but your heart knows it's no longer for you. Be brave and listen to your heart, even though it's hard, even though you might not be completely sure what you're chasing after, and others might not understand. Staying will lead to bitterness. This goal is saying exactly that. Claim the direction that you want to head by moving that direction. You have had to keep it really secret, keep it really quiet, not tell anyone because it's felt like you're living a lie. Like if you're dreaming of things bigger than this life, maybe this life isn't like, it's, but that's just not the case. It's the case that you have grown and changed and you deserve to move on. So it does seem like there's some people you're just not going to want to tell about that. You just want to do it. And there's other people where you're going to want to have a very clear conversation of this is why I'm leaving. It's not about you. That's a pretty big theme in your reading. It's not about them. It's about you. Leo. You. So that's this goal. This goal with the Page of Cups and 10 of Cups reversed. So many cups. Okay. You are getting tapped into your emotions. Ooh, that's a good goal. You want to figure out your emotions separate from the community around you. So that might look like therapy. That might just look like time alone, time in your own energy. But it looks like you're wanting to get curious about those emotional entanglements with other people in a way that doesn't involve you getting more entangled. So I think your impulse when you're feeling emotionally messy is to like go vent to a friend, but then friend has all of these opinions and maybe they side with the other person. There's like a lot of things that could happen there to make it turn sour. And so that's the benefit of going to like a therapist, even if you're just talking, is they're not involved in your life. They've got no stakes. And so it looks like one of your goals is to, with curiosity, approach your emotions and solve them in a way, figure out the web of them without getting tangled back up. That's a really good goal. Like I've been saying with a lot of these emotional goals, both of these, you're going to want to put like journal about what will it look like when you're there. How will you know it's different? How will you know you're not entangled? The curiosity side of it does seem to be a little more straightforward, where it's just saying, sorry, lost my train of thought. Yeah, don't be so dramatic about it. It doesn't have to be so serious. You don't have to lose your head. Okay, I'm in there. It's okay to keep yourself regulated. I think that's the point in like disentangling is it's hard to stay regulated when you're dealing with everybody else's perceptions of your problem. Okay. Another one of your goals is to travel. It seems very loose. It might even be just like trying new restaurants, like walking, stuff like that. I like that we got 3 pages out for your goals. That seems like a lot of your goal is to approach life with this youthful enthusiasm, with this like I don't have it all figured out, but I'm going to try it anyway kind of attitude. And so one of your goals is to learn more. It looks like you're specifically wanting to expand your knowledge. You're wanting to like take classes for some of you. Maybe some of you it's like learning coding, the thing that came out. But learning more and expanding yourself that way. So this seems like a shift from expanding socially into expanding internally and expanding intellectually. And it does look like you have a hope that that'll be of use, but it seems like the higher goal is to just learn. That like, oh, so like maybe you're going to school yeah, of course you want it to get you a career out of it, but you just want to be educated. That's what that seems like to me. In whatever way education is showing up for you. It doesn't have to be formal education. Travel. Let me see if I can get another card. Oops. Nine of Cups reversed. Okay. So it seems like what this travel will probably include is wherever you're leaving, exploring the new place, exploring the place you'll get to, but you haven't left yet. So that's why it's kind of like a when I get there goal. And so for now, just let yourself explore, and that'll actually probably help you leave. So, yeah, those are the goals that we have for you. And then with this last deck, we're just going to get into, before I check out those oracle cards, how does your spirit team think you're doing? How are you doing according to your spirit team? Those depression goggles that we've been talking about through all of the collective. If I'm seeing all reversals like this, it's usually depression. Maybe like tricky emotions, but very similar. Okay. They're wanting, your spirit team is wanting to point out that the point of going through this solo journey that you seem to be approaching isn't to distance yourself from other people. It's not because you don't like the people you're around. It's not because you don't love and care and think of these people as family. It's just hard for you to do what you want to do here. Hard, basically impossible. And you're needing room, like that expansion card with that knowledge, you're needing room to expand and grow. And this space does not want to grow with you the way you want to grow. Those are just facts. That's how they're coming out. And so, with those being the case, it looks like you could really do with some self gratitude in this process here. Yeah, because your guides are saying you've put down a lot. You've stalled yourself for other people. You've been able to help people get through some really dark times with your help. It's been out of kindness. And your guides are saying it's your turn to be kind to yourself, to receive that kind of kindness. And you can say that you're ready by saying thank you to yourself. Thank you for creating the amount of security I've been able to work off thus far. Thank you for being curious to learn things I was afraid to learn before. Thank you for putting down the fight so that I can figure out what I want and what direction I want to head. And thank you to the people who have been around that made it so comfortable that it's hard to leave. That's what this looks like, is your guides just want you to take a minute and just see what's been happening. See that it's not something you have to villainize. It's not something you have to run away from. It's just something to move on from. And I think that kinder reframing is something that you've found more recently. And it's the thing opening the doors for you. Like I said, the curiosity has been such a big part of this reading. Seeing that, like, there are different options here kind of mentality. Or even there must be different options here. And Page of Wands on the bottom of the deck again. And I like that it's the Queen reversed and then Page upright. It's almost like I'm gonna set down the things that I thought I knew about myself and pick up some other ones. see what else is out there. And your guides are saying that's exactly what you were supposed to do. So you feel off kilter now because you're doing something different, but you're doing what you need to do. And you could add some gratitude. Which I don't think has been entirely missing. It seems like you're a very positive, proactive person from this spread. It's just okay to not stay stuck. Stay stuck. Okay, so your oracle cards. This first one we've got explore. Trust your imagination to help you journey through your inner landscape to help you find what you seek. Number 8. The Explore card is an indication that you need to think of yourself like a visitor to a new world and not judge yourself harshly for any insecurities or misgivings you might feel. It's also a reminder that the creative person, which is what this oracle deck is all about, is like an explorer setting off to discover and understand new places and new ways of being. Throughout history, explorers have been considered the very definition of what it means to be a brave and adventurous person. By exploring your creativity, you join the company of these remarkable people. Well, it's true that you will not be putting yourself in mortal danger. Finding your way to a creative, authentic self will mirror the courageous overcoming of obstacles, including those that are self-created, that occur in every hero's journey. Fairy Page of Wands. And then this eye is seeking answers, seeing clearly, and paying attention. Take a look around. Observe the facts. The facts are this is a nice, fine place to be. And you want a little more. And then we've got white buffalo calf woman. Connect with the earth and the ancestors to remember your healing ways. Number 34. And I'm pretty sure she's a Lakota Sioux. Yeah, Lakota Sioux Holy Woman. By pulling this card, you are connected with the auspicious power of the supernatural goddess and native guide. The buffalo is a symbol of abundance, and Mother Earth asks you to remember that you are always provided for. White is the color of purity, which connects to your ability to cleanse and heal what is no longer needed. The snakes represent the devouring of ignorance and the transformation of consciousness. Through this invitation, reflect on where you may have lost sight of what is important and true. The sky as father and the earth as mother inform you that you are indeed a child of the cosmos and that your tribe or lineage is calling you back. These lessons are about honoring the earth and our place in it. And your place in it deserves to be somewhere that this explorer side of yourself can be fulfilled. So as you're looking around, you might want to also look into like your own lineage and see if there are similar patterns that you're experiencing from other people in your family, from other people in your line. I definitely read that last bit as a call to go through like the generational patterns that you've been experiencing. Maybe they're influencing this feeling of discontentment. Take a minute to look around, assess, just collect some data, and I think you'll notice that it's pushing you a direction, and it's okay to head that direction. I hope this helps. Okay, hello Sagittarius. Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. What we're doing here with this first deck is getting just a general overview of what things you've had going on. Just getting 4 cards. Okay. So the Wheel of Fortune wanted to come out sideways, which is just telling me that your luck is very in flux right now. And it seems like the things that you're doing in your home life, doing to further your passions, have really been a big factor of that. They've been influencing a lot of the direction that you're heading. And it even seems like you're charting the unknown is like what I wanted to. I like that both of those wolves and the stars up there are going to that moon. It seems like a lot of your energy is like I said, leaning into that unknown. Like you're going into it with like full force, knowing that you'll get to the other side, that you'll get through some sort of understanding. So let me get a card for this Two of Wands reverse. Okay. Yeah, it seems like a big piece that has been missing, that you've probably realized recently, has been missing from the equation is how your feelings exist. So much of what you've been doing has been about your like general direction, that you've been like moving past your feelings in a way that like hasn't been addressing them. And so part of the direction of where you're heading now, and that even seems like why it might have contributed to some of that mystery, because this direction is about finding that romance in life again, finding that poetry. And so leaning into that unknown actually seems like it can bring forward some results. So it seems like you're going a little bit to the dark side, is what I heard. Yeah, and there does seem to be this general like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. It'll all happen when it's supposed to, I guess. So I'll just keep doing this because this feels good, is I think what you're moving into. Because this, yeah, let's get a clarifier for the moon. Lovers. Yeah, you're falling in love with the darkness, falling in love with the unknown in a way that's uh like it feels much more peaceful than I think you thought touching the shadows would be. So this is probably talking about your own emotional healing, and how as you've been turning inward and seeing those monsters or things that you've condemned as monsters for so long, you're looking at it and seeing like, oh, this isn't so scary. And so that could also be reflected out into the world, where maybe you were afraid of like moving to a specific place or pursuing a specific kind of job, only to get there and realize like, oh, this isn't that scary, this is fine. And so it's helping you see that that darkness is actually like bringing you to a lot of good places, bringing you to more loving and fulfilling places. And then again, back to opening up the fact that you've been like not counting the value in that, not sticking to where it's safe. It's like you wanted to go and explore, so it's like, okay, well, my comfort zone doesn't mean anything until you needed comfort. And then you were like, where's my comfort zone again? So now this is about coming back to a comfort zone in some aspects, and then in other aspects. So like this is the more middle ground realm, where before it was all exploration, all new things. Nothing can ever be like the same. That was one side of it. Or the other side where it's completely safe, completely protected, completely free from danger. And so now you're finding that darkness that's not all consuming, that it's understanding. And that's the like emotional landscape that you've been dealing with. So let's see what's the most easeful path. Give it all that. Queen of Cups. Okay. You're in the group of people who silence is protecting. And so by that I mean whether or not you're like busy for real or just like busy dealing with your own stuff isn't really anybody's business. And it's okay to keep it quiet. And it's okay to not have to explain your whole thing to someone. Like if someone invites you to lunch, you don't have to come up with a lie on why you can't make it. You can just say, I can't make it. You can even offer, if you're wanting to be kinder with it, offer, but could you meet up this time? So there are ways to keep what you're doing to yourself that aren't going to completely shut people out, which is what it seems like you're wanting to do. But a lot of what you're wanting is to that's so funny because it's like I don't want to rest, but I want to be taken care of. So let me get a card. What do you need? Okay, that's what it is. It's not just that you want to rest, you want to be at home with people. Like you want to be around people socially. You want to feel like other people will rest with you. Seems to be a big thing that you're going after right now. And it also seems like the case that that's not something that's been happening very easily. And so that's where this silence coming in really makes it come together for me, because you might even have to protect like certain kind of relationships where maybe usually you would say, oh, like this is what we talked about, these are the things we said with someone, and now you're being more tight-lipped, you're being more like to yourself with that information, especially those places that are pouring into you, that are giving you what you want. Seems like you might want to give a little bit of a like a privacy screen up over there. Yeah, because that's what's allowing you to pursue the things that you want in a way that's not going to burn you out, in a way that you can actually get the things you want out of it. But you've had to release the burden of like what other people think about that path to actually go down it. And so that's taking a lot more attention and care than your other projects have before. Because, yeah, generally you do want people around, you do want people cheering you on, but you want to get the places that you want to get. And so you can't wait for the applause every step of the way. At some point you just have to go. And that's what's looking like the most easeful path forward, is rather than talking about it and explaining to people in a way that you can get their approval before moving on, you might just have to go do it and then come back around and see who's there supporting you, see who was the like natural person to accompany you along the path. And maybe that person's you, maybe that person's a pet, and maybe that like it doesn't have to be a romantic person. But in general, it's looking like letting yourself, having the like maturity to go after the things you want is the most easeful path forward. Having that maturity to keep things to yourself, to not have to share with everybody, is the most easeful path forward. Releasing your burdens and letting people help you, that's part of the most easeful path forward. Don't get caught up in the responsibility mess of like what you owe them or what they owe you. I think it's just, yeah, time to just show up when you want to be there. Yeah, so there does seem to be a little bit of like maybe travel that you're wanting to take on pretty soon to just help you feel settled and calm and ready to go after the change that you are embarking on. We've had a lot of sixes in your groups. That might be an important number for you. But it does seem like a lot of these things that you've been waiting on have been waiting for you to like release these ties, release these this can be codependency issues or like addiction, things that you feel you need that you don't need, that keep you small. And it has been the case before that accepting help meant you had to like go back a step. You had to like almost put yourself down so that the help knew that you were being humble about accepting the help. And now you're moving into a space where it's like, no, I help people and people can show up to help me. And it doesn't have to be this tit for tat kind of thing. And the thing that you've been putting a lot of intention into creating and waiting for and expecting is a kind of care that supports your vision rather than always taking you away from it. And so that does seem to be finding people and things that are more in line with yourself than relying on just someone being there, just something being there. And so the most easeful path forward is to continue to release those ties and those burdens and just let yourself live fully in the life that you want to live, in the emotions that you want to live. It's okay to inhabit them. So let's look into some goals for you. I don't want to wait. That's what that is. Yeah, okay. It seems like you've been patient enough, you've waited long enough, you've been available enough. And so one of your goals is to feel sure that caring for you is something that you can do without feeling that guilt that you're not doing enough or being enough for people around you. So that's going to be mean living up to your standards, setting the standard for like, if I'm a kind person, it means these things. And so I'm going to make sure I do those things. It doesn't have to be very checklisty, like I said that. But it could be if it's helpful. But not waiting for, like, someday I'll be this kind of person. It's like, well, if you see it as a problem, change it. And coming in with that kind of mentality seems to be one of your goals. And one that you should have. This next goal looks like replacing the harsh mental landscape of criticism and judgment with friendship. And so, like I said, that goes back to expecting that the places that pour into you are doing it out of like love and care and not out of any kind of expectation. And so that also is probably going to include like adding good times with friends into your life, adding like making sure that you have some time to celebrate the nice people around you, celebrate like that you've got people to cheers you. So that could be something like I'm gonna schedule a certain amount of time with people, or I'm gonna not hang out with certain people that make me feel less than. It'll look different to everybody, obviously. This next card looks to be about this next goal. This is about your transformation and something that's been a long time coming. So this feels like a career project, or maybe even just like a hobby project. Maybe there's like a home improvement project, or you're wanting to start a new like course. There's something that you've been waiting on for, again, no more waiting seems to be a theme through here. No more waiting, more doing. And so there seems to be something that you've been waiting for, or it could be language learning too, that you've been waiting on a long time to like embark on that journey, because you wanted to make sure you started out right. But it's something that like will transform you, will help you grow. And so it's time to start in on those projects that you know will help take you places. These are all so related. And you do that by giving yourself enough room, by grounding your projects, by grounding the things that you want. So that goes all the way back to, I think, the beginning of this reading, where we were talking about getting back in touch with, I don't even remember what cards came out. Getting back in touch with your side of things, with your emotional side. And so it looks like, ooh. So where this one felt kind of like learning, it felt like a project to take on. This one is more your emotional direction. And the Seven of Cups is all about options and the possibilities in front of you. And reversed like this, it's coming out like your goal is to be strong enough to make the emotional decision that you can live with. So again, it seems like we've got Temperance on the bottom of the deck, which I'm pretty sure is the Sagittarius card too. You've been balancing things out. You've been taking things slow. You've been, opening that door to that mystery with more curiosity. And so as you're like finding the right concoction that works for you, it seems like keeping a good record of what you're doing, or even like making a plan beforehand. Maybe this is like a business plan, or like you have like an emotional thesis for your life, and like what kind of things you want to get into all come under the same theme of using your strength, wielding the things that you're good at. So yeah, those are the goals that they look like. This was coming out much more abstractly than some of these groups have been. Let's look with this last deck. How are you doing according to your spirit team? The moon again. Ten of Cups reversed. Okay. Okay, yeah, it seems like maybe you learned something about your family or people you considered family that completely shifted the direction you were headed. And that's a seems to be something that led to a lot of this, like, I'll just lean into the darkness then. If like I'm getting pushed this way, I'll just embrace it. I guess I'll go that way. Um was a lot of what motivated you was almost like anti stuff. Like I'm against that, so I'll head over there. And then other things seem to be like just going places because you were asked. Um, and so your spirit team about that is really just wanting to they're really wanting to acknowledge that they know you've been going through a lot. And so it seems like you've almost come at things for your spiritual goals, the direction you're wanting to head, the motivations you're into, and you've been really harsh about not having achieved it yet, not having done the project yet. And they're saying like take a look at what's been going on and notice that you've been doing the best you could. You've mobilized yourself as much as you could. And if you go back and try and remember at those times when maybe you could have done more, if you remember, like if you could remember your day-to-day experience, you would know that you did everything you could. And so since your spirit team has been there and has seen your day-to-day progress, they're coming in and saying you've done everything you could. You've done it the way that you could. Even if there are times that you could have gone a little faster, it wouldn't have, like, you went on the journey you went on. There's no use berating yourself for what you couldn't do then, because all that is doing is keeping you further from doing it now. And so as you're stepping into this I'm gonna do it now energy, I guess I'll just change it then, I guess I'll be the one to do it energy, come at that with confidence, because you have been doing that the whole time. You've done what you could the whole time. And it's okay that you don't know why you did every little thing they did. Like it's woven into your tapestry now. And so as you're choosing the threads that you're wanting to pick up for these future things, look back at like what you have already succeeded in, because it's a lot. That was nice. That was a good one. So let's get into these oracle cards to end us out. This first deck is from the Creativity Oracle. We've got number 43, Change. The Change card is an indication that it would benefit you to make a significant change regarding the situation in question, or at least try a new way of doing what you do. If you are a visual artist, that would mean using different methods, different tools, or your less dominant hand. This card can also be an invitation to examine how you feel about change or make an attitude adjustment. It's easy for an artist to fall in love with a creation and resist making changes to it. The editing process for a writer is the perfect example. If you hate the changes your editor is making, they are most likely doing their job well. Selecting the change card can sometimes indicate that the situation in question would benefit greatly from you changing your mind. Ooh. That, again, is like leaning into that darkness. Changing your mind can be scary. Then we've got Octavia Butler. Love her. Okay, and the key phrases for this one are imagining, planning, and worrying about the future. Yeah. And then we've got runes, number 27. Look for inspiration, validation, and messages through written words and symbols. There are messages and insights contained in the symbols of language, just as there are in the ancient runes. Like the ancestors, the symbol messengers offer wisdom and knowledge that is often of value. This message invites you to explore the auspicious nature of language, pictures, patterns, and words in your life. Just as sequential numbers can alert you to information, the synchronicity of letters, symbols, or words may hold deeper meaning for you at this time. The ancient runes not only provided a way for humans to interrelate and communicate, but added a magical aspect of words, especially their sounds, with the ability to create reality. Use this knowledge to examine how language can assist you in manifesting and creating your experience. So yeah, maybe this is some change, and I liked the writing, especially because this literary witches oracle brings out writers who are witches. It looks like finding a way back into your spirituality through words, or maybe even literally runes. But finding, again, looking at the tapestry that you have, and what are the colors that have been missing? What are the things that you wish you could have done faster or would have done more of? And how can you plan to take on those things now? And writing about it or reading what other people have written seems to be a good place to start with that. But it's all about planning for your future, planning for like how you want things to be as you're stepping into your next self. Okay. Well, I hope that helps.